Why would anybody tab an intro like this? There are 3 different time signatures for a bunch of rests. Wouldn't you just do 4/4? Well, I'll tell you why. But first, if you haven't checked out my cover of Rat in My Kitchen, you can do that right here to know what I'm talking about. This song was requested on Patreon. Becoming a patron supports the channel and lets me keep making videos. You can also support the channel by punching the like button and subscribing for free. To start things off, the bass part to Rat in My Kitchen was recorded by Earl Falconer. He played with his fingers on a headless bass like a Steinberger to record the part. In order to try to replicate the bass tone as best I could, I use my P bass, which often gets a tone very similar to that of those headless basses. What I do is I turn the volume up all the way, and then I take the tone and I roll it all the way off. As far as any effects or pedals go, all I used were a little bit of compression and a sans amp instead of using a real amp. Compression, I've got a 4:1 ratio with a quick attack and release, and approximately equal output and input gain. For the sans amp, just about every knob turned to the 1 o'clock position with no drive, and the presence turned to the 10 o'clock position. As far as the positioning goes, I have linked in the description a video that shows Earl's hands clear as day. You can see his fretting hand on the 7th fret. Let's take a look at the song structure. Rat in My Kitchen has 4 parts. 5 if you really want to count the outro, but that's just a chorus. So we have the intro, a bridge, followed by a chorus, a verse. Those are the 4 major parts of the song, and then the bridge, chorus, and verse all repeat. The intro is played with an octave effect and is rhythmically the hardest part of the song. We'll go over why in a bit. Each bridge varies from one to the next, as do each of the choruses. This always happens in the 2nd and the 4th measures. These are the ends of 2-bar phrases and will lead into the next phrase with one of a few different fills. The verses are all identical except the last bar, where it's a variation much like the bridge and the chorus. My favorite variation is in the last verse, measure 55. So after the intro, each 2-bar phrase starts with this measure here. This really helps for memorization. Once you get this down, you've got half the song already. Now, breaking down the intro, the reason why we have multiple time signatures for the first 3 measures is for countability. Is that a word? Is countability a word? I think so. As a bass player, we'll often have large amounts of rests, or even smaller amounts of rests that we'll still have to count through. And here, in the intro, it's no different. In the beginning, we have a little percussion pickup, and then it sounds like distinct beats all the way through measure 2, all the way through measure 3, but then it sounds like the bass comes in on the te or the and of 4. And so you'll see my head bob to the side. That helps me physically feel that syncopation or the offbeat in order to come in at the right time. Once the bass comes in, it's straight 4/4 from there. It might be tempting to play these first notes as half notes. However, Earl Falconer actually leaves that space in there. And so they're not quite half notes, they're dotted quarter notes. So you want to make sure that they have that space. However, here in bar 5, that is a true half note. It goes all the way up to the next beat. Here in bar 5 is where it starts to get a little bit tricky. We've got a 16th note here, and it's at the tail end of the beat. So it makes it a little bit hard to count. But if you take a listen to it and you listen to the song before you're trying to play along, you'll get the hang of when to come in. So here in bar 7, we have more 16th notes. This one comes at the end of the beat, again making it hard to count. And then over here in bar 11, we have some more 16th notes that come a little bit off the beat. Again, if you listen to the song beforehand a few times, you'll get the hang of when to come in. If you think I forgot to mention something about this song, or if there's another one that you'd like me to do, let me know in the comments below. I'll see you next time.